Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kelly Moore with Missoula County Extension Office. And today we're going to be talking about making lunches, but we're going to make a little different kind of lunch. Maybe you're familiar with the word bento, and maybe you're not. So hopefully you will find this to be a fun idea, and you will do some of this next time you need to make lunches for your kids or for your family. So I'm especially happy to be at the Missoula Public Library in the beautiful kitchen. And so hope you will just enjoy what we have to show you today. These are very simple lunches to make. Bento boxes have been around for centuries in Japan. I have not been to Japan. I am not an expert on Japanese history, but you can come to the library to learn a lot of things about bento boxes. And it's very interesting, okay? I first became aware of the bento boxes when during quarantine I had a lot of time to go on Pinterest, and I thought it might be fun to do some different things for kids. So there was a site where a dad had started making lunches for his kids, and he was using like Star Wars figures or any kind of superhero, and he was making those lunches for his kids, and they look forward to seeing that every day. So he became pretty famous, and if you get a chance, go on Pinterest and look. But there are lots of ideas out there, lots of YouTube, good videos to watch on ideas for bento box lunches. I have a few examples of what the bento boxes look like. This is kind of a kid's version. It's a container that's easy. It has a snap-on lid, something we're familiar with. A fork usually comes with the bento box. And there are some different sections. And we will spend a few more minutes on what to put in those sections soon. I don't want to spoil the surprise and show you what's in there already. This is kind of a newer version. This looks like more of the traditional bento boxes. Just got this one this week. It looks very small because another advantage of using a bento box, portion size is pretty easy to figure out with one of these. We're used to having giant lunch boxes, as you can see in the picture. Our lunch boxes used to be more like that, very packed and full of a lot of food that maybe we didn't always need to eat, and maybe kids left a lot of food. But now the bento box is a great idea to keep things separated. Kids are also sometimes very picky about having their food touch. So that's another good reason to have that. You can do the food ahead of time, which I've done for most of this food today. And it's easy to pack a lunch a lot faster as well. This bento box has the lid. Most bentos come with silverware, which is pretty convenient. In fact, it's kind of the Japanese version of our picnic basket. So all of these come together and can be kept there. There are two levels to this box. Let's see. So you will notice there's a little bit of a tab on the top too. That means if you want something to be warm, kept warm, you can put warm water in the bottom and then put your food on top of that. And so for a certain amount of time, it will stay warm. The same thing for if you want something to stay cold, just put ice there and then cover that up. There's something that you can use to divide the section of the bento box. This one comes with two containers, so you can put dressing in there or dips or whatever, so it keeps that neat and tidy. Plus they're very nice to look at as well. So, and here's another section that you can also put liquid or ice in. This is brand new, so it's a little bit harder to pry the top off today. Okay, and again, another container and another section divider. Okay. So this is typically more of maybe what an adult would use, this kind of bento box compared to the kids. They're easy to clean. That's another nice thing about them. So here we go. Put that over there. All right. So we're actually going to fill these bento boxes up today with a couple of ideas I had. The recipes are available as well on the library website. So the typical parts of every bento box, they typically have a rice or noodle component. The very authentic Japanese bento boxes will have foods that we're not maybe always familiar with. So if you were to go to Japan, you would see that. I guess convenience stores are selling bento boxes now in Japan, so they're getting away a little bit of people making their own, which I guess we all come to that, don't we? Also, there are at times a meat component, or in the vegetarian boxes, there will just be different vegetables, whether it's pickled vegetables or cooked raw vegetables. Sometimes there is a fruit part or some kind of small, sweet little tidbit. Okay, nothing real large. That's what we're trying to kind of get away from. So it's a really great way, again, to incorporate healthy, nutritious foods. Very colorful. There are some special little cutters you can buy, I suppose, at probably in the import market or probably on Amazon, which we all tend to order a lot from. They're usually very artistically done, and that's the fun part about them. Today we're not going to use those, but we're going to try to make our boxes as colorful and as healthy as we can. So we'll get started with that. I have three components of our bento boxes that we're going to talk about today. We're going to start out with the rice or noodle component. So we have something in the kids' boxes and the adult boxes. The kids' box, there is something made of rice. And the adult box, we're going to make something similar to noodles, but it will be made of vegetables. And I'll show you that. Let's first talk about the rice. There are very many different varieties of rice, brown rice, and just too many to talk about. We could do a class just on rice. This particular recipe for the kids' box calls for sushi rice. So most of us have had sushi, I'm sure, and it's pretty sticky because you have to have it stick onto the seaweed that you're making the sushi out of. So I purchased, and it actually is called sushi rice on the container, on the bag. You can tell it's a little bit smaller grain than the other kind of rice. I'll put this out so we can see it a little bit better. Here we go. So in my left hand is the sushi rice, and it's a lot shorter grain. It's a lot thicker. The other is jasmine rice. So it typically doesn't take as long to cook, the long grain rice. Sushi rice is better if you rinse it a little bit. There is starch on the rice. You don't want to, of course, you want it to stick together, of course. But if you rinse it a little bit before cooking, then you have a much better outcome. All right? You could try to use long grain rice if you don't have sushi rice, but you just won't have the same kind of product that we're looking for. All right, so here is an example of the sushi rice that's been cooked. So as you can see, it's very sticky. It just has a little seasoning on it, but it's very sticky. You can make a rice ball out of that easily. And that's another idea, too, to put into the bento box. Okay? All right. So sticky, it's hard to wipe it off your hands, as a matter of fact. Okay. And for the adult portion of the bento box, instead of noodles, which we do see a lot of noodles when we go to Japanese restaurants, but I'm going to use one of my favorite gadgets, and I think we've seen this before. If you go back to earlier programs, we're going to make some noodles out of zucchini. So they make beautiful noodles. They're healthier for you, and they're actually delicious. So, and plus you end up with these funny looking things that come out of this machine. So you can use these for something. I'm not sure what, but they're certainly edible. Okay? So let's put the salad together because it takes a few minutes to marinate. Now, this is a Greek salad we're making. I realize just because you have a bento box, you don't have to make Japanese recipes. So we're going to use the idea of the bento, but put foods in there that we like to eat ourselves. Okay? So we're going to start out with the zucchini. You're going to have tons of these pretty soon in your garden. So this is a good recipe for later in the summer. I like to try to get a straight zucchini because it's a lot easier on this machine, the spiralizer. If you don't have one of these, I think, wow, you're missing out on a lot of fun. You have lots of different blades. You can make fries out of these, ribbons, whatever. This one's nice because it is easy to put away. It has compartments for all of the blades. So We're just going to kind of, and kids love to do this too. So let's see, we're going to put our plate over here to catch all the stuff that goes in. All righty. Okay, here we go. Yep, once you get going, it's just kind of fun. You do carrots. You can make a nice carrot salad for a bento box as well. Okay. Sometimes the zucchini don't want to cooperate in the beginning. There we go. So one zucchini actually makes quite a few noodles. This recipe calls for 2 zucchini, so you have some leftovers. There we go. Sit in our cabinet. Okay. And now you can see where that one strange part comes from. It's just coring it as we go along. Right. Okay. So that's pretty much how much one zucchini will make. And then once we take this off and pull it out, there we go. It's kind of like a little outer space trees. That's what they look like. Okay. And all these great noodles. They're all very long too. It kind of helps if you take the scissors and cut them into more easily eaten pieces. Okay, so we're going to put that into our bowl. It's great color as well. We're going to leave these funny guys out for now. And you can use those later in the kids' bento box. You can make some forest or something out of those. Okay, now there's just a very few ingredients to add to this. We're going to use some cherry tomatoes. All right, we're just going to cut those in half. These have been washed previously. And then we're just going to toss those in. The salad is very quick to make. Doesn't take long to marinate. All right, we'll just cut the rest of those. Also, we have a little English cucumber, and the difference between English cucumber and regular cucumber, of course, the seeds are smaller. You don't have as much water content, so a lot of recipes will call for that. And a little bit of feta cheese. You can put olives in there if you would like. Kalamata olives. A lot of people are picky about their olives, so they can be left out. This is kind of what you might see in the Mediterranean diet recipes. Those are certainly known to be healthier, heart healthy, so they're kind of a big trend now is to use a lot of these recipes. Okay. Alrighty. Feta cheese, usually when I use feta, you can buy feta that's already crumbled, but sometimes they're using some stabilizers that they put in there to keep the cheese from just clumping up. I prefer to get the square, okay? The feta that comes like this, and then I just cut it. And it holds together a lot better in a salad. All right, so I'm just gonna cut a little feta. And add that to our salad. There we go. All right. The salad dressing is very easy to put together at the last minute. Okay. Oops, there we go. We're going to mix that together in one of my favorite mixing jars here. A little olive oil, like 2 tablespoons. Just pour that in. Some good olive oil, a healthy olive oil. A little bit of salt. Okay. This is Himalayan pink salt, so any kind of salt is good. A little lemon juice. Just going to squeeze that together. Okay. Squeeze that in there. Hopefully no seeds will go in there. Okay. You can use a little oregano in there if you like that seasoning, or some basil leaves, which I've used right here. I'm just going to, fresh basil leaves, I'm going to chop those up and then add those to our salad. Okay. Okay, and we're going to shake this together so it can emulsify. All right. Here, and always to have just a little bit of a taste. Tastes pretty good there, okay? So we'll just pour that over our salad and just give it time to blend together. Okay. Like I say, you could put olives in there as well, or sometimes toasted walnuts would be good. And a little pepper. Okay. So usually I let this sit for a couple hours before we actually eat it. Move this out of the way. Okay. And a little red onion, which I put in the one I made earlier today. Okay. Here we go. So that's what this salad looks like that I made yesterday. Has a little more time to marinate. It looks a little bit more appetizing that way. We'll put all that together in the bento box when we get a few of the other things done here as well. So we'll set that right there. Okay, that's the main portion of the adult one. We're going to add maybe a few other components with it. Let's go back and talk about the rice dish that we have. And this is for the kids' bento box. Okay. There are only 3 compartments in this one, so we don't have as much space to fill, for sure. All right. The recipe you have for the rice cakes will look something similar to this. I use the sushi rice. It calls for you to spread it out after you've mixed some parsley and cilantro. In this case, I didn't blend it up really well. Sometimes the kids see that. They really don't want to eat anything that's green inside. So usually I blend it a little bit better. Bake it. It has an egg in there and a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's basically it. Bake it for like 15, 20 minutes, and then let it set, and then just cut a circle. Okay. When that's done, I usually have the kids decorate it themselves, but this time we did like a Ninja Turtle. So this is kind of a very crude looking Ninja Turtle, but but kids can decorate it any way they want, all right? So that will fill up one portion. And that way they get their vegetables. There's a little fruit, an apple for a mouth. You can use anything you want. I've seen kids use raisins for the eyes, so however they want to do that is good. So we've got the 2 main things for both bento boxes. Now we want to add a few other components with them, okay? So since we're doing the Ninja Turtle theme, this is what I usually have the kids do. They have to, the Ninja Turtles had some kind of a sword or something, I'm sure. So we're going to use some toothpicks, anything to make it more fun. And again, use kid-friendly ingredients. Put those on the side. I've just taken a carrot, and I just kind of push the toothpick through the top of the carrot, okay, like that. And then we're just going to put a tomato on, and then some cheese here, okay, the fresh mozzarella that the kids tend to like, a green olive, and then a piece of pepper. So if you ask kids to eat all these things on their own, they might not be so happy to do that. But if you say it's part of the Ninja Turtle special thing, whatever they use. So I would put a couple of those right here in the pocket, 2 to 3 of those, okay? That way they're getting even more vegetables. And you're getting away a little bit from the yellow cheese that kids like to eat so much. Okay. Then also kids like something sweet for dessert. That's where these fun little apples come in. I guess it's a new variety from Washington. They're actually very sweet. They look like crab apples, but they taste like regular apples. So there's plenty of space to put that. You couldn't put a giant apple in there for sure. So you put that in the bento box. And then also you'll have a recipe for something called Energy Bites. And this is on our FNEP website, which is an expanded food in nutrition education program. And so if you go on the MSU Extension website, you can find out more about that. There are recipes listed there. So the recipe is very simple, calls for things you would have at home anyway. Rice Krispies, oats, just quick oats, powdered milk, which used to be really popular. People used to always use this. I can remember growing up, there were so many of us, we had to buy this to extend our milk. And that's when I learned not to drink milk anymore because I really didn't like the taste of it. But no, actually, this is a very, very convenient and healthy thing. It's good to take camping, I know that much. Peanut butter, so whether you make your own or you use a commercial peanut butter, and a little bit of honey. So that's basically all the ingredients in there. You just mix them together and they turn out to be something like that. So energy bites right there. So no bake, which is nice too. Kids like to make them. They can get their hands in there and squish them together. So there's our first bento box, and that's kind of a nice lunch for kids. You don't need a whole lot of food in there, and probably something they would eat all of. So what we have to do is put our fork in there in the little spot, put the lid on, and you're good to go. Keep it in the refrigerator if you make it earlier in the day or the night before. Okay? So let's get back to our adult bento box. Oh, one thing I did forget. These are kind of popular with the kids too. This is something called Pocky, and it is in the Japanese or Asian section of the market. They are already made, but there again, something fun to put in lunches, pretty inexpensive. So we could just stick that in on the side someplace. Right there we go. Okay. Right. So our salad's marinating there. We're going to get our other bento box here and see how we're going to plate that all together. Take the lid off of that. Okay, since just depending on how much salad you would like to eat, you can fill up the entire amount and then put something different on the bottom, or just a certain portion. So that's what we're going to do, because we are going to add some chicken with it. Okay. Not necessary, but it does add if somebody wanted a meat option. So I'll just put a little bit of this salad here. And of course, because the salad is marinated overnight, the noodles are a little bit more easy to get into the container. There we go. Okay. And if you just had salad, you didn't want to put the dressing on there, you could certainly put it in this and put it to the side to use for later. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of chicken, and of course you can always adjust that, which is kind of nice. Place our chicken here. All right. You could put a sauce on that if you wanted. We're just going to put a little bit of a lemon slice here just to add some color. Okay. All right. And we're going to use the bottom part for the other good things we're going to make here. Okay. Let's see. All right. I have two options here. One is a commercially available treat that I discovered. These are basically chocolate and coconut. So we're going to use that for part of our dessert. I'll place that in the bento box here. And so we can have a little bit of fruit. This is kind of another nice way to have fruit, and it's very easy. Doesn't take much time to make, and the kids love to make them too. So I have sour cream. You can do creme fraiche as well. And this is some turbinado sugar. So it's just in a very raw form. And it's tastes a little bit more like brown sugar, but it's pretty delicious. You don't have to have a whole lot of it. So I've washed the strawberries. I leave the stem on. I'm going to roll them around a little bit in the sour cream, and then just roll them on top of the sugar. So actually it's a very delicious treat to have. Okay, I'm just going to put those in the box and do a couple more of those. If you didn't want to use the sour cream, you could just dip them in a little bit of honey, something to make the sugar stick, which would be double sweet, wouldn't it? Or, of course, mix them in chocolate. Okay, just a couple more there. And of course, you can't use the sugar again because I'm dipping sour cream into the sugar. Should have taken a little bit of that out. There we go. All righty. That should be enough right there. All right, so here's our bento box for adults, or kids would like this as well. We have our salad, our Greek marinated salad, a little chicken on the side. You could put something else over there if you would like, but it makes it nice and colorful there. And then a dessert treat too, with our little chocolate drops and the strawberry dipped in sugar. So if you wanted to keep these cool, you weren't gonna, if you couldn't refrigerate them, again, you could just make sure, oops, let's see. Well, I guess we have to just have one layer if we're going to do that. I just discovered that. Whoops, we're going to put that on the bottom because you want to eat this first. Right. Okay, then just snap that on the top. All right. Okay. Seems a little harder when you don't have... Here, I think I have this one upside down. That's the problem. Now we got it. And then you just put the band around it, okay? All right. Plus, you have nothing to throw away. You can take it home and wash it up. So better for the environment as well, and doesn't take up much room. So those are a couple of the ideas for the bento box. Hopefully this will help you, and I encourage you to explore bento box ideas and just start a new trend. I think it'll be a fun thing for your family to do. So thank you again for watching, and until we meet next time, thanks.